phrases. This is the second part of the video on verbals. So gerund phrases are gerunds and their modifiers are gerund phrases. So an example is her singing is horrible. Singing is the gerund, her singing is the whole gerund phrase because her is a possessive adjective modifying singing. Another example, running with scissors is a bad idea. Running with scissors is the whole gerund phrase and it is acting as a subject, so running is the gerund, running with scissors is the gerund phrase. Now we have another example, I loathe the running with scissors because it makes me feel guilty. Now running is acting as the direct object, it is still a gerund, and running with scissors is now the whole thing, and with scissors is modifying running. And again, objects of the prepositions are nouns too. Example, the girl is healing by eating the medicine. The girl is healing. Now, is healing is part of the verb phrase. Healing is part of the verb phrase, and is healing is a whole verb phrase, so that is not a gerund. But eating the medicine is the gerund phrase. So now we have infinitives. This, in my opinion, this is the trickiest verbal. So I really want to kind of explain this more carefully. So infinitives are verb forms that act as nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. So right off the bat, it's, wow, it can be a lot of things. So it can be a little bit confusing, but a lot of people think just infinitives. Look for the to. But an important note, usually preceded by to, but not always, and I'll get back to that later. But I want to highlight that. But we have an example. I try to think. Now, to think is modifying try. So, and try is a verb, so it's acting as an adverb. So to think is acting as an adverb. Now another example, to remember is hard. Now to remember here is acting as a subject, so it is acting as a noun because subjects are nouns. Another example, the people to remember are those standing over there. To remember here is acting as an adjective because it's describing people. I'm sorry, it's cut off at the end, but it's describing people. So there it's acting as an adjective, so I have it acting as an adverb, noun, and adjective. Now we have an infinitive can have a subject, and that's a little bit tricky. So here it's, he trusted me to help. So me is really the subject of the to help, and to help is the infinitive. Don't get it kind of confused with indirect objects, because me is really just the subject of the to help infinitive. And going back to the, it doesn't have to be preceded by to, the important note I said at the beginning. Example, she helped me wake her parents. And really you can kind of insert an imaginary to right between me and wake, because it's really she helped me to wake her parents. And then we also have the me as a subject there. Now infinitive phrases, there's also something called that, and of course it's the infinitive plus the, sorry, I kind of went ahead, but it's the infinitive plus its modifiers. So an example is, I remember to close the oven. And the whole phrase to close the oven is modifying remembered. So now these can modify, now infinitive phrases can modify other things rather than gerund phrases are just acting as nouns, so they do not modify other things. And finally, if you get this sentence, you're good to go. Example, she helped me wake her parents. And I said that on the last slide. I hope you just don't remember or go over to look at that one. But if you know this one, not by heart, but just looking at it, then you're good to go. So just highlight that to make it bigger. And me is a subject, infinitive to wake. To isn't there. And wake her parents is the full infinitive phrase describing helped and acting as an adverb. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and watch the next video.